Alright, so I watched Prey a few weeks back, and since I just talked about Dan Trachtenberg's 10 Cloverfield Lane, I figured why not also talk about his new movie, Prey, the prequel to Predator. So we got two prequels this year. I just talked about Orphan First Kill, prequel to Orphan. Now let's talk about this prequel. So Prey is on Hulu, and it is about a fierce and highly skilled Comanche warrior who sets out to protect her people when an unknown danger threatens them. Alright, so let's jump into the little things I didn't care for. Not a whole lot. I thought the movie was pretty good. There was just a lot of CG blood and gore that just took me out of it. I don't like it when movies resort to just using CG for everything. Like when there's violence in my horror movies, I like it to be done practically. And this is one of those sci-fi, I guess you would say, horror movies that it has a lot of CG in it. Another thing I didn't like was the couple attempts to do like forced callbacks to the original. I feel like this whole franchise does that, where they have to say things that they said in part one. You know, get to the chopper, but there's no choppers in this movie. It takes place in 1700 something. But there's a couple of lines that I just kind of rolled my eyes, like, okay, we're saying this line again. If it bleeds, we can kill it. And then at the end, she has that Dutch moment. She's like, come on, do it now. Trying to be Arnold. And I'm like, really? Are we doing this again? So I could have done without that. And I thought her plan at the end to take down the Predator was just a little far-fetched. Like, there was too many variables that had to go right. So you just have to suspend disbelief. It's like, really? Like, this lined up perfectly with this, and you were banking on this to happen in order to achieve this, and it's like it all worked out perfectly. Like, bullshit. But it's a movie. You gotta look past it. But it did kind of bug me. And lastly, this movie has a fucking Wilhelm scream in it, and you should never use that sound effect unless it's for comedic purposes in a comedy. This is a very serious movie, and then when I heard that scream, I immediately busted out laughing, but I didn't want to be laughing. This is Prey. This is not a comedy. I shouldn't be laughing. So the fact that they threw that in there kind of bugged me. It's like, I shouldn't be laughing. Why did they use that sound effect? There's a million different sound effects you could have used, and you went with that one? Really? Come on. I say it all the time. Sound design, especially in horror, is important. So what I like about the movie, though, is I thought it was very well shot, beautiful atmosphere. I love that we get to see the Predator hunting other animals besides just humans, like we always see before. Like, we get to see him, like, work his way up the food chain. He's killing, like, smaller stuff at first. And he's working his way up. He's, like, killing snakes and this and that. And kills a bear. And, like, I thought all that stuff was pretty fun. I thought all the performances were really solid. I liked the lead protagonist. I was really invested in her character. And I really loved her dog. She has this dog that's, helping her hunt and protecting her at times. And it's just, a fun duo. A woman and her dog. Hunting in the woods, like I was really into these characters, and there was a really cool fight scene that's like done in like one take. I thought that was really well done. You don't even really see where the cuts are, and I liked some of the new gadgets that the Predator had in this one, and that scene when he takes out all the Frenchmen was pretty brutal, and again a very well shot, very atmospheric scene. And I like that this one is closer to the original, where it's just one on one again. Like in the sequels, like as the franchise went on, they always try to like add a bunch more like predators. I like that it's just back to one on one. I can see some people taking issue with the fact that this movie does kind of feel so much like the original. It pretty much is the same movie, but a different era. It's the 1700s. It's not soldiers. It's these Comanches. These warriors fighting the predator. But I liked it still, even though it does feel like it's the same movie again. But it still worked for me. And just to tell a quick little funny story, after I watched this movie, I told my parents. I texted them. I said, "Hey, check out Prey on Hulu." They checked it out, and then the next time I saw them, I asked them like, "Hey, how was the movie?" And they both were like, yeah, we enjoyed it, but it just felt like they were ripping off Predator. And then I realized that they had no idea that this was a Predator movie. They didn't know it was a prequel. They just thought this movie was completely ripping off Predator and had the same looking villain who could camouflage himself. And they're like, man, they really ripped off Predator. It's like, well, you dipshits, it is a Predator movie. I couldn't believe they didn't understand that. They obviously didn't read the plot synopsis, because I'm pretty sure it said right there, like, set in the Predator universe, like, this is a prequel. They had no idea. They just thought this movie was plagiarizing, and they couldn't believe that they were getting away with it. So final thoughts, I think if you love the original Predator, you're going to love this. I think it's the second best in the series. The story is basically the same almost, but it's a little bit more of a slower burn. Not too slow. It's not as action-packed as the original, but it's still enjoyable because you like the characters, and it's very well shot and atmospheric, and I think it's definitely worth a watch on Hulu. So when it comes to Prey, I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. So those are my thoughts on Prey. What are your thoughts on this movie? Do you like it more than the original? Where does it sit in your Predator ranking? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's all an opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.